Hello everyone, this is Piyush. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, let's look at how to file your taxes as an international student with TurboTax. So without wasting any time, let's get into it. Wait. Did that guy just say that you can file taxes as an international student using TurboTax? Hang on, because you can't file your taxes using TurboTax as an international student. So we will discuss in this video why you can't TurboTax and what are the alternatives that you can use. So now without wasting any time, let's get into it. Tax filing as an international student might feel like an overwhelming thing, and it's the tax season, so we have to make sure we are filing the taxes and filing it correctly. If you are an international student in the US, it's your responsibility to file your taxes, whether do it yourself or do it with the agent. There are many agents in the US who can file your taxes, but it's really important to know like which agents are right for you and which agents are only for citizens. So TurboTax is one of the most famous tax filing agents in the US. Whenever you try to search US tax filing, it will be in the top 3 or top 5 agents that you can use for your tax filing. Unfortunately, TurboTax only supports tax filing for residents and citizens. And if you are an international student on your F-1 visa, you are considered a non-resident alien for federal tax purposes for the first 5 years in the US. If you pass the 5 years in the US and you clear the substantial presence test, then you are considered a resident for tax purposes, but until then, you are considered a non-resident alien. And this is an important point because the tax forms change for residents and non-residents. I have seen many international students in the US go with TurboTax for the tax filing because it comes on the top when they search it on Google, but that's incorrect, and you will have to file an amended return because you as a non-resident alien have to file Form 1040 NR for your federal taxes, whereas residents or citizens file Form 1040. So this is completely different, and there are many students who use this and get a lot of refund. So as a student, you get happy that yes, I'm getting a lot of refund and I will just party or do something with this. I have seen friends who got a lot of refund with TurboTax and then they spent it on holidays, and only to later realize that they got a mail from IRS stating that you filed the wrong form and you need to send the extra money that you got back to us as soon as possible. I think the worst part is that the IRS would send this notice via physical mail. So let's say you change your address after your tax filing, then there would be almost no way for you to know that you filed the wrong forms because I don't think they send you the status online. Another problem is that I have heard people saying that, oh, my friend has used TurboTax for their US tax filing, so even I will use that. The problem with that is, let's say you file your taxes using TurboTax, then you spread it in your friend circle that, oh, the TurboTax is letting me file it for free or for a very low cost, so let me share it with everyone. The problem with that is like it doesn't necessarily mean that you're filing the right tax forms. It's only like spreading a rumor. Or it might be that your friends are not necessarily incorrect, but they might be born in USA or they might be a resident in USA, whether they are on their H-1B, they have spent more than 5 years or so on. Even the TurboTax website mentions explicitly on their website that they don't support non-resident tax filing, and they have a partner who is SprintTax who specifically supports non-residents in the US. I have made a few videos on how to file your taxes yourself, whether it's federal taxes or 2 of the state taxes that I have covered till now, that is Indiana and California. But if you still want to go to an agent, which I completely understand because sometimes your tax situation might be more complicated or you might not have enough time because of your work, studies, etc. So that's completely understandable, but make sure you go with the right agent. SprintTax is one of the most trusted partner in the US, so you can definitely select them for your federal as well as state taxes. But there are hundreds and thousands of agents like that you might see on Google, so make sure the agent that you're going with does support non-resident tax filing. If you have been following me for a while, you know that I put disclaimers on my tax video because I don't want to get into trouble if some tax situation changes or some laws changes. But one thing I might be sure of in tax filing is that TurboTax doesn't support international student tax filing, so you can take my word for that. There are hundreds of agents in the US who might file taxes for you, and it's really difficult to list down all of them in this video. But one agent that I'm completely sure of, as I mentioned, is SprintTax because they are a partner of TurboTax. There is another website named, I think, olt.com, which lets you file your federal as well as state taxes for free if your income is less than 48,000. So you might give them a try. Apart from that, there are many others, but make sure whenever you go with any agent, see the forms that they are filing for you. For federal taxes, the main form that they should file it for you is 1040 NR. If you see they have filed the form 1040 for you, you have to know that this is a wrong form and this is not applicable for you. I hope that you now have more clarity on which agents are right for you as an international student in the US. But one question that you might ask is, I have already filed my taxes using TurboTax. Now what to do? I don't want to get into any trouble, not pay any penalty or not go to jail. So now the only solution that you have if you have filed the wrong tax forms is filing an amended return with the IRS, which is form 1040X. This form is used to correct any mistakes that you might have on your original tax return. Let's say you messed up with some number, calculated it incorrectly, made some errors in additions and subtractions, or you filled out the wrong tax forms. This is where the amended return comes in handy, and you have to file this form to make sure your tax documents remain clean. I have made a video on how to file your amended tax returns. You can refer that video, or you can go with any agent. Again, you can go with Sprint Tax, which assists you with filing amended return, that is form 1040X. Make sure to file an amended return with the IRS as soon as you realize that you made some mistake in your original tax filing, because as an international student we want to keep all our documentation and taxes clean, so we don't want to get into trouble with the IRS paying penalties and so on. So it's better to do it as soon as possible. Share this video with as many people as possible, because unfortunately I have heard hundreds of people using TurboTax for their tax filing, and the worst part is that some of them haven't even realized that they have filed the wrong forms. So we want to spread some financial awareness among all the international students, because we don't want any of our friends to get into trouble because of the wrong tax filing. Comment down if you have any questions for me. I will try to answer in the best way I can. Like and subscribe my channel if you find my content useful. Thank you again for watching this video. Until next time.